Regal Movie Masters Unlimited.
This is the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited podcast where we indiscriminately watch every goddamn movie that comes out at the local theaters. The movie masters today are Justine.
Hi.
Brent.
Hello.
Dylan.
What's up?
And I'm Colin. We got a full docket, folks. You thought we were slacking? Thought we were laying low? No, we have 3 movies to get into today. We have The Nun 2, the newest entry into James Wan's Conjuring verse. We have My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, the newest entry into the Greek verse. And we have, what's the movie called? The full title?
Aristotle and Dante's.
Discover the secrets of the universe.
All right.
Yes.
And that's the first entry into the Latinx Yaoi. How do you pronounce that? Is it Yaoi?
Yowie.
Yaoi, the Latinx Yaoi cinematic universe, which is off to a great start.
Universe-verse.
Right. A universe within a universe. As always, before we begin dicing out these fine films, we got to tell you that we have an email which you can contact us. It's moviemasters760@gmail.com. That's moviemasters, plural, 760@gmail.com. And just a heads up, we got spoilers on everything, absolutely every aspect of all these movies we talk about. So this is the alert for all of these. So Dylan, why don't you tell us what we're starting with?
Well, Colin, we got The Nun 2, the 9th installment in the Conjuring series, but also a sequel to a spin-off series called The Nun. It's a supernatural-ish horror movie, you know. To make things short, it follows Sister Irene. She returns from, the previous movie, The Nun, as I just mentioned. And, she's trying to find Valak, the demon nun. There's a Valak situation happening in Europe. Priests in the higher churches are realizing there's a pattern of murders and suicides between the nuns and priests in all these churches.
Yeah, so basically there's like the original nun, which was a convent designed to contain this demon, which we'll learn much later in a different entire film series is named Valak. I don't think Valak's mentioned by name in this one, right?
No.
And so, that one in the first Nun was bombed during World War II. Also probably should say that this takes place in the 50s, like the Nun does.
Oh.
Demon gets out in the first one, and they think it's defeated because they drip some of the blood of Christ on him.
She spat the blood of Christ at him.
The fools, because as we find out in this film, there's a string of very suspiciously Valak-esque happenstances on a path in Europe, which lays us not in the convent in Romania, but in France, right?
Yes.
At like a boarding school.
Got it?
Yeah, sorry. As a person, I didn't watch The Nun 1, so like everything before this was brand new to me. Did not know who Frenchie was. I was very lost.
You mean Maurice?
Maurice, but I guess they call him Frenchie.
Yeah, they call him Frenchie.
But I think in this one, it's just strictly Maurice.
Yeah, this one's all Maurice.
Oh, sometimes they called him the gangster of love and all.
That's true. They do be calling him the gangster of love. Anyway, Sister Irene is followed by Deborah, who's played by Storm Reid. You guys saw her in Missing. And together they're trying to track down Valak, who's played by the legendary Bonnie Aarons as the nun / Valak.
Who's been in nothing else, I assume? If you called her legendary?
No, she was in other movies,
Okay.
but she's like background.
All right.
Yeah. She plays the quote-unquote bum in Brent's favorite movie of all time, Mulholland Drive.
One of my favorite roles ever is the quote-unquote bum.
In
From
Mulholland Drive.
Anyway, but Valak, a.k.a. the nun, has possessed the homie Frenchie, which was Maurice, and he's from the first movie. While he's working on his new life, working as a groundskeeper at the all-girls boarding school, and chaos ensues, Also, the director is familiar with the Conjuring world, the Conjuring universe.
He's got 2 other films under his belt, am I wrong? In the Conjuring
No,
verse.
you're not wrong. In the
Okay.
Conjuring verse, it's Michael Chavez. He directed him. He did Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, a.k.a. Conjuring 3,
Yes.
and La Llorona.
There we go.
That's it.
He hasn't done any other movies?
He does other movies, but
Okay.
I only listed the.
If it ain't Conjuring, we don't fuck with it.
I don't give a fuck. I don't know, right? I just want him to do Conjuring films.
Neurona's not good.
No, and Conjuring 3 isn't the best entry either.
It's kind of whatever.
Yeah, if it's not clear, me and Justine, I have never seen a Conjuring movie until this week where I decided to watch every Conjuring movie.
All 8.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing stellar. I can't, Jesus. Someone look up the name of the demon. Who is the demon that possesses Annabelle?
Annabelle.
Oh, isn't it Math?
It's like Malthus or something silly like that. Anyway, so the chronology goes.
No, god damn it.
The Nun 2. This is chronological, not how the movies were released. The Nun 2, Annabelle Creation, The Conjuring, Annabelle Comes Home, La Llorona.
No.
Oh shit! What did I get?
The Nun 2, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle, then The Conjuring.
Then Annabelle Comes Home, then La Llorona, then Conjuring 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I assume. And so the shtick with these movies, all of these movies, since you asked, Brent, is like any like background character or spooky guy they come up with, they get their own trilogy. Period. End of story.
I just asked if you're doing okay.
There's a like a little toy box that has a crooked man in it. Guess who's getting his own in The Conjuring 2?
Crookie.
We want to happen.
No, they're making well, I heard on YouTube they're making a Crooked Man movie, and I'm not going to doubt something I heard in an errant YouTube video. So they're making a Crooked Man movie, which of course is going to lead to Crooked Man Begins. And then be Crooked Man the last chapter.
Yeah.
There's a Fairy Man is who we want. I don't think there's any news of a Fairy Man movie, but in Annabelle 3, there's a guy with coins in his eyes. Coin eye guy, definitely getting his own trilogy.
They'll let James Wan know that he produced it later, right?
James Wan executive producer is BS, but I think James Wan producer still counts for something, damn it.
So he's aware that the films exist?
I'm fairly certain. If it's executive producer, then I'll give you. I don't think
All
he's
right.
seen them.
Yeah.
But producer, I feel like he has a little bit
Okay.
more of his thumb in the pie. All of the Conjuring verse is James Wan's baby. He directed 1 and 2 of The Conjuring, and then deeply produced all the others.
Produced.
They all feel like it too.
Yeah.
You know what's cool? I think I have pinpointed why I like James Wan so much.
Oh.
I'm coming out as a James Wan fan.
Okay.
Here's my argument for James Wan. 1, he has figured out how to make a passable movie.
Counterpoint.
And
Malignant.
He has figured out how to make a passable movie and not go one click above that. Like,
yeah. Okay.
he gets the C- and he calls it a fucking day, because anything above that is just wasted energy, and he could be spending that time producing something else.
That's right.
Like him being able to pull out Aquaman. He made $1 billion out of a friggin' post-Snyder DC property. Like, give the man his flowers. Out of Aquaman, he's going to do the second one. I don't think it's going to do as well, but that's just speculation. He'll pull off it just pops into the Fast and Furious franchise like a Jack in the Box. He did 7. Directed. Not produced, not executive produced, not co-executive. Directed Fast 7. The bro can just like get in and get the job fucking done. Fast 7, that's a good one. That's one of the better ones too, in my opinion.
Yeah. We don't have to go over the Fast
No,
and Furious
we're just
movies
doing
again.
Conjuring movies now.
But yes.
And I enjoy the series, as I have learned, because you can just put it on and stuff happens, and you watch the screen and it's not too distracting. It's one notch above ambient. It's not quite ambient, but it's also not exactly going to distract you too much from, your day-to-day life, having a movie on. I really like it. I like it. They are cozy.
I think except for The Nun.
The Nun is weak. The La Llorona is weak.
The first Nun.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty boring.
Let's get into the second Nun.
The second Nun,
boring for me.
I respectfully disagree.
Painfully boring.
It's boring in the same way that they're all boring, and it's more exciting than The Nun.
Was it all right?
Yes.
What's the more boring movie that you've seen this year for you? Your taste?
I mean,
What comes to mind immediately is Asteroid City, which was the most boring movie I've ever seen, basically.
that was aggressively
I'll give you
boring.
that.
I mean, even apples to apples, I would say The Boogeyman was more boring.
That was definitely a boring ass movie.
And I thought that was fine. I mean, Last Voyage of Demeter is a lot more downtime with a lot less uptime. Dylan, you brought up the haunted house comparison, and I think that's an apt. Why don't you break down your haunted house theory as it pertains to this film?
Oh, I was just saying, these movies, any James Wan like horror movie I've ever seen that's not Saw related, it's just haunted house. I guess Saw related too, actually, because you have to visualize walking into a room and there's a guy getting tortured. But in these films, it's just like, here's a dark alley, just pitch black, no lights, and then all of a sudden there's just like a boo right there. There's like behind him, in front of him. It's just like it just doesn't matter. It's just like constantly putting you in some fucking suspense.
And then just a jump scare.
Yeah, but every time it like weirdly works. Like that. This is Insidious film, but the stupid like Insidious 3 where she's in the thing opening up all the what's it called?
Oh,
Suitcases. Yeah.
And you know a demon's going to pop out of one of them.
Yeah.
But
They know you know.
music swells up. First one's empty.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the second one. Shaking hand, approaching luggage, music swells up. Empty. There's 4 suitcases.
Yeah.
Approaches the third one. Music swells. Demon.
Yeah.
Ah, you were expecting in the fourth one, weren't you, dummy?
Or you expected nothing. Sometimes they make you expect nothing. They make you expect it because it's like, oh, or the person's head is like out of center. There's just like a pitch black, nothing behind it, like on the full right side of the screen. Then nothing happens. Just cuts to the next scene. Just like, damn it.
If I could zero in on one thing you said is the doesn't matter factor. And I think that is a huge through line in all these movies. Is like,
None of it matters.
yeah. Because I do believe they start with jump scares. Like, give me everyone, all the writers go home, think of 12 jump scares and come back tomorrow. And then
They probably describe them as beats, but they're actually just jump scares.
oh no, I don't think like they come up with the scare scenarios.
That's what I mean. Yeah, they're just
And
like,
then-
these are our beats, the jump scares.
Yeah, and then after they come, like, figure out their power ranking of the best ones or ones that will be coolest to work with, then it's like, okay, how do we barely thread a plot through this?
Yeah.
Like barely have anything holding this one together. And so Annabelle Comes Home is like one of Conjuring is probably the best movie that could pass as a real film.
Okay.
Annabelle Comes Home though is is where they embrace it because they're like that takes place in the Warrens household. Which don't worry, I don't know if the Warrens have been born yet by the time that this movie takes place, or they are like children because it's like the 50s still in Europe. So they are in a different continent and adolescence by the time this movie takes place. But they are the main characters of the entire franchise. But they have all these spooky haunted objects in their house. And it says, don't go in here, don't open these objects. And these bratty babysitter goes over just because she wants to talk to her dead father. And she lets all the spooky ghosts out. And so the whole movie is just that. It is just like, there's a goat demon. There's a coin demon. Lights go on, nothing. Lights go off. Face, turn the light on, he's gone again. Like, behind you, nothing. Look ahead of you, nothing. Look behind you again. Demon in the mirror, hand reaches out. Like, just... I mean, I hesitate to even call them jump scares. It's just like...
Well, that one's the only one I could kind of remember.
Like fright scenes. Yeah. Again, it's a haunted house. It's,
greatest hits.
You walk around a corner.
Anthology.
You walk around a corner and I'm the butcher. Like,
Exactly. Oh, there's that guy.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Look, remember that one?
You walk past the butcher and then you're like, oh, I'm glad that we're away from that butcher. And then there's a big bat when you walk in. Oh, and air is compressing out of the bat and spraying on you. Like,
damn it.
Yes, and that's all these movies. And to go back to the doesn't matter part, all of these things, all these like jump scares, I think you could rearrange them entirely. They don't ramp up. It's not like a Stairway to Heaven where like it starts quiet and then it builds up and it crescendos. It's just rearrange any 5 of these like jump scare moments. Same movie, exactly, note for note.
I'll give them credit, like since you did the music analogy. I think, they start with like their 12 jump scares, and then they look at them like songs. They're like, all right, man, what's the strongest? Yeah. 5th one? All right. Yeah. Let's have it go second, because we really want to really hook the audience. You know what I mean? Like get them like really wired into being jump scared. And then, that crow that flies by real fast, 7th.
Yeah, to your boring point, I think it does start with not a lot. There is like by the last 15 minutes of the movie, I guess let's say the last 15 minutes before the boss fight, because there is like a straight up Nintendo game boss fight with Valak, who is
Giant Valak.
Valak is, by the way, not mentioned by name in this movie, but Valak is the original demon in the convent who was just taking the form of a nun to be more spooky. So even though it is the nun, Valak is the demon taking a nun form, but it's not Valak's true form. To watch 9 other Conjuring movies if you want to know.
What does Valak's true form look like?
Like all of the demons in these movies are like demons, like just
horns.
Yeah, like whatever Danzig was drawing in his notebook in like 12th grade.
Yeah,
it's just like that.
Okay.
And this one also has, I believe, the first appearance of the Ram, which I think is the same. What's the Disciples of Ram? Who in Annabelle, the first one, is a family, the Charles Manson like cult that kills the neighbors of the lady who has the Annabelle doll. I think that cult is based around the goat demon you see in this movie, which, fun fact, is a cool looking goat demon.
It is a very fucking cool looking goat demon, bro.
Very metal.
So I'll give you context on why it was so boring for me. I think, I know that jump scares don't really work on me anymore. Like, it's really rare. Like, maybe this past year, 2 of them have. So I napped through your notification that, hey, we're going to the 741. I'm like, shit, I missed that one. So I went to the 1021, and mind you, this was opening night, so they were doing showings every 20 minutes. So my theater was completely empty. So it's just me sitting in the middle of a theater watching a movie that is relying on jump scares with nobody to like play off of and nobody to like, I don't know, add color to the experience. So it was bleak.
Yeah, because it is absolute gibberish, and then the thing gets you. So if the thing doesn't get you, I don't think this movie's going to quite work for you. Our theater just had like a couple, like a sprinkling of heads. But I think
many showtimes.
They were like about it though. Like they were just shut up and watching the movie. They weren't screaming and throwing popcorn everywhere. I was dreading that because when we saw Insidious, which is the same movie, that was like also all jump scare based. And that was annoying because it was way too full and way too loud. But I don't think they're. It's not that I don't think this movie's going to do bad by any means. It's not like, there was no one there. There's no one there because there's like showings every 15 minutes.
I guess they're saying it's trending behind projections right now, but so is everything.
Right. And obviously this is one that you just have it sit in theaters during October and hopefully pull up something then. Or maybe you get people, this is like a appetite whetter.
Well, now that all the Conjuring-verse movies are streaming on Max again.
It'll get people into it. And maybe. They'll go back.
I don't know. They'll be like, The Nun 2? What did I miss in The Nun 1? Oh, no, there's 8 other movies.
Oh, my God. Well, that demon they fight in Conjuring 2 is so scary. And then I watched the prequel. Now I want to know what happens after the prequel, but before the Conjuring 2, but that not counting the Conjuring 1 or Annabelle, which is a completely separate side thing.
Who were those people at the end of this movie?
Oh, yeah. That was great.
I think that's how they connected it to, because it's very thinly. Again, they make the movies, they make a spooky monster, and then they give the spooky monster the trilogy. I don't think they start with some great blueprint or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no Bible to this.
Isn't that a James Wan thing? You make the movie and they're like, oh, people like this. Go backwards.
And that's kind of, again, another reason why I'm a pro Wan.
Chaotic MCU plot.
Yeah.
Start with one, let's see what happens.
Well, that's the best way of describing it.
They could take a lesson. They could take a lesson because it's like, hey,
could they?
Yes, because
follow what we liked.
Yeah, what movies make money? Okay, that movie made money. Well, let's give them more of that. And let's give them something similar to that, and then let's keep going until they stop giving us money, and then we'll stop. Instead of here's 25 movies, you're gonna love them all.
Right.
It's like
here's the dates. Here's the dates for all of them for the next 5 years.
So be more flexible in terms of like what you're making. Okay.
What's stuck? Oh, you guys really like that nun guy? Okay, well let's give you a movie. Oh, that movie did well. Well, they'll get another movie. Yeah. Like wait till it comes out and then see if they like it instead of being like. And then that's going to spin off this thing who gets a solo movie and a TV show, but you have to subscribe to a new subscription service to get it. And then that roadmap shit is irksome. And that's, to these movies' credits, they're very successful, generally speaking. And he's got to be fucking like quietly one of the richest guys in Hollywood. All of his movies make a shitload of money.
And he's just walking around.
Yeah.
Give a fuck.
No one
talks to him.
Yeah. You know what?
No one knows.
Did you know that they actually are doing a James Wan streaming platform?
It's just all Wan everything?
WandaVision.
Okay. could see that. I could see that. You know what I like
One
about
movie a day.
I've
Get one movie a day.
I got another through line in his films that are very present in this film. These movies are so aggressively asexual. Like for horror movies too, which
That's
are
true.
notoriously very horny. These are the most dehornified movies you'll ever see. No one in everything in horror is like, I'm a vampire and I'm sexy, or like, I'm a slasher guy. Ooh, you're gonna run, you girl running, crying, scared. I'm a slasher guy. I'm gonna get you. This shit's just like, there's demons and we got to deal with them. Call the experts. Call my professor. It is.
I'm getting so much insight into James Wan that I've never considered.
Again, and it's why I like, like hardcore music and even a lot of metal. It's like the only music with guitars that is just not horny.
Exactly.
Like, if you want the purest, most asexual music on the planet, just listen to like Uniform Choice or Youth of Today. It's nothing sexy about it.
Yeah.
You can't really see, even punk music, it's like the New York Dolls or something. That's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
A lot of its image. Yeah.
Something going on there. But like, hardcore music, just a bunch of shaved head boys running around in a circle, completely asexual. And that's these movies. They're like the hardcore music of horror movies. It's just nothing kinky, just business, which is, hey, what's that over there? Look at it closely. Look at it real closely. Open the box. It's not a sexy succubus demon, and it's not like, a big, strong, sweaty man demon. It's just a toy clown, a literal inanimate object doll.
Who does nothing.
That gets his own trilogy. Bro, these movies are fucking sick.
This one is kind of weird because it does sort of seem like two different movies. Like the first part of it is all the French stuff and the kids in the boarding school. Just one of those movies where the little girl is seeing weird things and getting trapped in rooms.
We aren't supposed to go down into the attic. What, are you scared? Etc.
Yeah, lock her in the room.
Right.
And then the nun stuff is happening separately, where they're just getting information for their quest.
Right,
and
detective stuff.
Yeah, once they finally converge in the boarding school, then it's like
on.
Then it's a movie.
You got a goddamn goat in a stained glass window that pops out.
I was howling when the flashlight goes behind and like a laser casts down to the floor.
That shows you where to get. And that's another weird thing about all these movies. There's like a fixation with objects. There's demons and stuff, but they don't really like. Well, this one it is very NES game. There's like a floating nun in the room, and they have to like chop down all of the wine, and then they convert the wine to holy blood, and then that gets the demon. That is so like, a boss fight in Castlevania or something.
Castlevania specifically.
Yeah, like the floating thing, and you have to,
I like that. Like when they did it in Constantine.
Oh, just like
when you
boss
like
fights?
bless the water.
Yeah.
Or turn the wine into blood. Because in the first one, spoilers, she beats the demon, quote unquote, by like they put some blood on it and she spits blood at it, and it's like, oh no, I'm dead. And this time, obviously, you have to go bigger. So it's just like
physically
waves of wine, which is now blood. So now waves of blood just splashing on her, and then I guess that kills, or no, just banishes it.
Yeah, because she comes back. Obviously.
Yeah, it just banishes it. Just keeps getting sent back to hell. It's like, these Warrens.
So close.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing I take from these movies. I'm the guy who's just like, this is really a movie about addiction. This is a movie about perversion. This is a movie about closeted sexuality. The Nun is a movie about a ghost nun. And she's spook ya. And that's fucking it. Like there's zero again,
you can't draw a parallel to anything.
I've watched like 9 of these movies this week, and there is nothing in any of zero subtext. If it is just spook ya for spook ya's sake, I guess you could reach and stretch and say something about like faith, because all that blood stuff is like a miracle and it makes the girl from Missing believe. I guess. But it's also, that's not impressive though, because it's like, I don't believe in miracles, and then you see a literal miracle happen. It's like, oh, well, I guess I do.
She saw a goat demon.
That's literal versus like an actual like
so that's like the opposite of faith, I guess. She's just looking for empirical evidence and then receives empirical evidence. Not exactly.
Like, oh, okay. I guess it works.
Yeah.
That demon almost poked that little girl's eyes out.
Yeah, that demon fucking stabbed this girl. and like made a girl fucking fly into the air, bro.
What can we do to kill it?
So not quite a character arc, exactly. So we got our. Do we have our say on the Nun 2?
Easily.
The Nun 2 is it get thee to a nunnery, or is it are you going to
out damn spot?
Yeah, or is it live a life of sin? Not watching the movie. I'll say get thee to a nunnery. I'm a convert. I'm a recent convert. I like these. Thank you. I like these stupid fucking movies. I like to just watch movies where things happen on screen and there's no point to any of it. It's just gibberish. It's just digital noise happening in front of your eyeballs. If you like that kind of movie with like that, like really takes itself seriously and isn't, playing around and is really in love with itself, the Nun 2 qualifies. I am A+, A-okay. This is my kind of this is a kind of horror movie that I enjoy. Boring and stupid one.
I'll go to the nunnery. They seem cool, all the nuns. And you can just leave the nunnery whenever you want, because that's what Storm did and like followed what's her name? Irene. But I like these movies. The nuns specifically out of this Conjuring verse are pretty like slow. They're not the best of the Conjuring verse either. So like if you're looking to dabble, just do them all. Just watch all of them.
If you're looking to dabble, watch every single film.
Yeah.
In its entirety.
You say that like somebody that has watched every single film within the last week.
I did for sure see all the Conjurings before and Annabelle Creation before. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that they were all connected though.
Yeah.
It's fine. You can watch them in whatever order you want.
None of this matters.
No.
I'd seen most of them and I'd forgot them.
They saved the best shit for the mainline Conjuring.
Yeah.
That's them playing with their A game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'll have none of that. How about you, Dylan?
I'll go to the Donuttery, dude. It's pretty good. I like that one shot where they show Valak takes her final form, and it's just like you don't see her face, and it's just the white light behind her. That was a good shot. I'm not gonna lie. I looked really sick. That's it. It's a good movie.
What other movies did we see this week?
Well, the next thing we saw was My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. The third and maybe the last in the saga, but for now, we're just going to call this one a trilogy. It's a romantic-ish comedy. It follows our favorite Greek family, the Portogalos.
Okay.
Going to Greece for a reunion of sorts.
Good pronunciation. I respect it.
Thank you. That was set for Tula, who's played by Nia Vardalos, who also directed this and written the movie.
Oh, wow. Tula's the
main girl, the main lady.
The head of the household, or the one that everyone likes? Who's the one that they say?
Yeah, way to jump ahead
I'm your
of yourself.
favorite.
Huh?
No, not her.
Okay.
No.
Who's she?
Tula's the main.
Yeah, Tula's the main lady that gets married in the first film.
Yeah. Who's the cool one though?
What's her name?
Yeah. I'll let you figure it out while Dylan continues.
Anywho, this is her first time directing any of these films.
Her first time directing anything?
No, it was like she directed other films.
Okay.
But in the My Big Fat series.
Yes.
It's her first one.
They finally handed her the ball.
It might be her last. We don't know. Could just be a trilogy.
Well, not her last movie,
no,
but her last
I mean, in the
Big
series,
Fat.
in the saga.
My man Aristotle would beg to differ.
Anyway, the invitation for the reunion goes out to Tula's father, Gus, who in the film passed away because the actor in real life passed away.
Okay.
Michael Constantine. But before he passed away, I guess Gus asked Tula to give the journal that he's been writing to his childhood friends from Greece. Thus, this reunion would get her to bring the journal to his friends. But along the way, Colin and everyone else to Greece, some plans go awry, and chaos ensues.
And then there's subplot.
Yeah, there's a lot of subplot.
There are entire 10-second scenes where they got a location, they got the crew, they set up lights, they fucking color corrected everything just to make one joke, and then they moved on. It had nothing to do with.
I don't know. I think they went on a spree, and then in post were like, we got this scene, we got that scene, we got this scene. Let's do some ADR. This is very ADR'd out.
Yeah, they're not even looking at the camera to saying some lines, bro.
Yeah, that's what are they, B-roll. That's what they call it when they.
I'm just saying, there's just there's some parts where it's just one location. It appears for 4 seconds just to make one joke about being Greek, and then they move on.
Or like when they're sightseeing.
Yes,
that's where the actors are in for sure.
Well, there's also like just visiting the monk, stuff like that. It's just like there's I counted like 5 where it's like the joke has nothing to do with like the plot whatsoever, and it's just like I'm just thinking about the crew having to like set up everything, and only for 4 seconds of footage that really if you cut it out of the movie, it'd have nothing. It'd be fine.
Did the quote unquote monk that storyline ever get tied up?
Yeah, the monk gave a piece of information about how to find the childhood friends. It was
right,
but it was really subtle. It was mainly about making a joke about I don't remember.
But it wasn't that it wasn't like he was a ghost the whole time or anything like that.
No,
There was
he was
nothing crazy. No.
He literally was like, "Oh, you're looking for these 3 guys? They live over here."
Yeah.
He doesn't show up at like the party at the end.
Well, we don't know that. He could
No,
have been
I
there.
looked for him because I wanted to see like if there was like a few of those scenes where I wanted to see if they paid off in any way.
No.
And they didn't. Yeah.
He's a monk. What do you want?
And then there's the because the I guess the punchline or what the chaos is so called is that they show up to the town where the reunion's at, but it's like a ghost town. This is to me this was the dumbest part of the movie. The stream had dried up because there was a rock slide.
Yeah.
And so when everyone gets there, they move the rocks out of the way
One by one.
Then the water can come down, and thus they'll have running water, and thus they can have a town again.
And they could
It's
have a
not
marriage.
like they don't
I
have
know.
running water.
I'm just saying that's a
Well, the pageantry comes back.
that was
when
one
they
of
get the
those
water.
loose ends. That
He
was
needed more
not a
help.
loose end.
They explained
Yeah.
that there's only 6 people, and I
Yeah.
guess all of them are
So
old.
the community comes together
Right.
and they revitalize the land.
Well, wasn't it the family? Like the reunion hasn't happened yet. It's just the family that does it.
Right.
Yeah,
but
they
it's,
show up and
Somebody's
I
paying attention.
I need some hands.
yeah, it's a subplot of the film is that the town is a ghost town. But it's a ghost town because a handful of rocks, which are demonstrably movable by 6 people, has blocked the stream.
One could argue
they're
even
old.
one.
It was like an old lady.
I'm dumb. I'm not gonna fucking
Let's
try to
get in the
hold this
weeds.
goddamn movie
Get in the weeds
to.
with this movie.
Listen, they moved it, and then they're like, "That's the start of a new era, bro."
Yeah.
We can fill this town, and they say this in the movie. This isn't me being a weirdo. They're like, we'll make the town a place where all the Syrian refugees can come, and that's what they're gonna do.
Are they Ukrainian?
I think they said Syrian.
Syrian for the
Because
The girl is, I know.
yeah,
the
no,
girl got
she's-
married. Yeah, but
Oh.
they wanted to open up the town for other.
They
There's-
just said whatever
Yes.
refugees,
Yeah.
because the girl is Syrian, but the old lady,
handing bread to the Ukrainians
Yes.
who are on somewhere else.
Right.
Not interested in living in some
Yeah.
dry ass town without a stream running through it.
Now it's
hell
got a
no.
the
stream.
mountain.
But since 6 people have moved it and made this stream run, now Syrians, get in here.
So they go to Greece. She goes there to hand the journal to her deceased dad's friends, but the friends are nowhere to be found because the
it's a ghost
town is a
town.
ghost town.
'Cause of the
So they have
boulders.
to go on a hunt to try to find these guys. And meanwhile, they're like, isn't there supposed to be a reunion? And this wacky character, what's her name? Liberty?
Yeah.
Liberty.
sure.
Victory?
Victory. There we go.
The mayor.
Yes.
They're like, did you get RSVP? No. So the whole time they're like, no one's coming to this reunion. It's just
Yeah.
us hanging out at this village. Of course, last minute, 1 million people show up. Apparently, they all got the invitation, but decided to go at like 9 p.m. instead of like the whole day.
Is
or
that
whole
is that like a
weekend
Greek joke? Like,
celebration.
oh, you know how Greeks are. We never RSVP.
I don't know.
No. It was the Fatone family that went and rounded people up.
The Fetonis, they just got the family friends.
Yeah,
They
but I
got the
think
mains.
they get the family friends
but
to get everyone
then
else.
they
Get everyone
contacted
else?
their people. That was what was implied to me.
Yeah, that's what
All
I
right.
thought.
Right? Yeah.
I'll take it.
But either way.
No,
Yeah.
Greek people be sleeping on planes, dog. I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
much.
They just like get on the plane, recline the seat, and then they're out.
I feel like that is a deep cut ethnic stereotype that I
If
was
it's true,
not
we have
privy
no
to before
idea.
this film started.
This is the weirdest thing, like, because these movies could just be misinformation.
Yeah, I guess if you don't
I feel
live
like they
among
have to be,
you
right?
don't live among the Greeks, you
You'd
wouldn't
have
know.
no idea.
But you have to assume that Greeks like these movies. I don't think they like. There's like what do they call it? Protests. Like stop showing this racially insensitive film. I think the Greeks like these films. That's why there's 3 of them. Tom Hanks produced this movie for no reason.
And Rita, his wife, yeah.
Is he Greek?
That's a great question.
Yeah. You have to ask chat.
Yeah. They're ethnically white boy.
That is true.
Yes.
They are white boys.
Bro, they should have called this Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 White Boy Summer.
I know a lot of Greek people, and I don't recall any of them ever wearing Greek merch or having Greek suitcases or always wearing blue and white to everything.
Did you go on a plane with them before?
I have.
They fall asleep immediately?
No.
Okay, so then we don't
It's
know.
fucking weird.
Maybe it's not a Greek thing. Maybe it's just this one
Well,
family.
it's because they're not Greek enough.
Oh,
There you
enough,
go.
right?
Yeah, they don't live in the Greek community and run a Greek restaurant.
Right.
I can say this, though, at my screening, which I just got out of, every joke hit, and there was the 2 scenes where things are revealed, like one being that she has a brother, and I forget what the second one was, but everybody gasped. They went,
That's so cool.
it was heavy.
I mean, the OG was like a cultural phenomenon, I feel like, when the first movie
Big
came out.
time.
'Cause I was
Massive.
like not really tuned into movies, and that movie, I knew about that
It
movie.
was a smasher.
Justine, you're ahead, right?
I love that movie.
All right.
Yeah, it's funny.
Love?
Sure. I haven't seen it in like
That's
10 years.
strong.
But but from what I remember, it's funny. There's a lot of like characters. I looked it up. The lady that you were trying to think of, the aunt, she plays Aunt Vula,
Vula, there we go. How could I possibly confuse that?
Andrea Martin. Apparently she was in Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That movie, I have no idea what she did in it.
All right.
But yeah, it just gives you a bunch of characters which are funny and kind of like lovable characters, and it's like it's a good time. There's not really anything crazy or sad.
It's like they're very sweet films.
Yeah.
They're
And
not,
it's
the
just-
humor isn't mean spirited. They're not kicking
just
people in the
funny.
balls or anything.
It is a very lighthearted movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this one was kind of like lame because it wasn't creative.
It felt like they had very little to work with and they stretched a lot. I
Yeah.
mean, we all want to champion this 90-minute movie thing. You watch a movie like this and it's like maybe 60 minutes because there's a lot of landscapes and trips and ADRs and
You know,
repeated
but,
gags.
Like to Brent's point, it almost feels like it was longer and they cut a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And that maybe it just didn't play well or
Right.
something, and they just left in what were very dry jokes still. So I don't know what. I want the extended cut.
There's also, I mean, there's just
Release
like,
the Snyder
Yes.
cut of my Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
I would actually, that's weird. I would watch that to see, what was cut. Because there's like the cuts were really strange to me. But I don't know. There's also just this aspect of, like I said, every joke hit. They loved everything. They were legitimately shocked at the reveals. And I was just, I guess, having like an existential crisis going, I will never, I was trying to figure out if I aspire to like relate on that level where it's just like, yeah, this is so funny. And I can't believe that she has a brother. During this, I was like, shit, I wish this was funny to me. And it just wasn't.
I feel like maybe if you were like 60 when the first movie came out and now you are in your mid 70s,
Okay.
it might hit a little different. Like you might be a little bit more invested.
So I don't know.
Like I said, that first movie, it had a stranglehold on people. It could be like that these are just,
To Justine's credit, the first one's better.
yeah. Well,
Like quite a bit.
This feels heavily like we went on vacation and filmed it.
It
And-
felt like, okay, there was a minute too where it felt like when a band tries to make a movie, you know what I mean? Like the scenarios where it's just
Right.
like, we just get from scene to scene just so we can play some music.
Or maybe it's like, our drummer is a crazy guy. So
Yeah.
fans of our music who already know our lore are going
Do
to
the
love
thing.
seeing this guy be crazy. So maybe if you're deep in this world, you're like, Joey Fatone didn't. I can't believe
It
it.
felt like Foo Fighters Studio 666, which I watched after we did that episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate like well crafted wholesomeness. I can't connect to it in any way because I'm built different, like I'm darkness. There's like a demon inside of me. Like I scare myself sometimes. I'm just real like that. So yeah, I can't
I think it was-
earnestly connect to this in any kind of way.
It felt like, okay, yeah, wholesomeness, great. I can connect to that at times, but it just felt like it wasn't grounded in anything really. Because like you said, like I just like the Greeks that I know don't really act like that. So I was like, I don't know what this is.
It's grounded in the Greek fat Greek wedding verse.
Yeah, it's its
they
own
all
kind of
act the way
logic.
that they act,
Yeah.
It's like watching a cartoon. Like, you don't expect it to actually have to do with, real people or anything. And I was thinking that, I don't know what's like a comedy that's lighthearted, not mean-spirited, good time comedy that we've seen.
Since we've been doing this?
Yeah, like going to the theater and being able to
Right.
just watch not an R-rated thing, not a, I don't know, based on a comic or
like,
game or something.
House
Just like,
Party was like, that's too R-rated,
yeah,
right?
too R-rated.
Like a
taking my
PG-13 comedy.
grandma, taking my mom, something like that, where you
One,
just walk in
with
and it's like,
Maniscalco, was that?
no.
My
that was-
Ticket to Paradise.
No.
That was pretty.
Ticket to Paradise. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
All of
same
these,
thing.
all these are all vacation. They're all getting familiar faces to go on vacation.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. Not in that it's good, because it isn't. But like, here's something that you're not seeing very much of.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that as like filling a void.
Well, what about 80 for Brady? That's pretty.
I was thinking about senior
Fine.
cinema when I was watching it. I was like, what is this missing that made me connect with those other ones so much stronger?
Needs to be 20 to 30 more years of the main character. Is what's
But
missing.
I think
Because
but the jokes were just funnier.
you
Because there
have
was
to-
it was more than one note.
I think with the senior cinema, you need to have there's like a pinch of like, I am too old for this shit, or like I
Yeah.
don't care. So there's kind of not like a meanness, but kind of a grumpiness to it. That a lot of the humor comes from in those movies.
But just shy of going over the line on grumpiness for 80 for Brady, and maybe I will, or whatever the one was.
I'm just saying, there's not you lack that kind of like, I'm over the hill, who gives a damn? You miss that's not really present in this movie, because that's not the kind of movie they're doing. This is a family, something.
Although they do yell at every woman for being too old.
Yeah, they like that. They like food. They like to eat. Greeks do be doing that.
Hey,
They
speaking
do
of,
be sleeping.
They do be sleeping and eating.
Yeah.
this was the first movie that I snuck a burrito into, and it was the perfect movie to do it for because it opens with so many food scenes.
Right.
So I wasn't hungry, and it was nice.
Fucked up not going falafel wrap, but I'm not one
Yeah.
to judge.
I was starving.
Oh yeah, somehow, because we watched The Nun, and then we're just like, fuck it, Greek weddings after this. Let's go right into that.
But I was like starving.
Yeah. We were hungry when The Nun started, and then we doubled down and went and watched
And then the
this.
first thing they do is show you plates of food.
Yeah, and it being prepared, and like it's all shot beautifully.
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are we gonna say I do, or do you want a divorce?
So we should say,
Yeah.
my big fat Greek wedding. There is a wedding in it.
Yes,
Technically related to the family.
right.
They find out later. But it's kind of funny because you're like, where is the wedding going to go? Why is it still called my big fat Greek wedding? But they sneak one in there.
Then boom, you got weddinged.
Yes.
I was crazy when they popped up and said that.
I was giving the movie props right after. I was like, I'm glad they just kept it with wedding.
Yeah.
Like the first one, perfect. Second one, they have a kid. That's the whole plot of that film. They have a teenager. Now this one, there's another wedding. Just like crowbarred in there. But like a wedding happened.
Yeah,
Like
hey,
spontaneously,
you can't
too.
say they lied about a wedding happening.
It goes from borderline xenophobia to just here, give me a hug. You're
Yeah.
getting married.
So I was like, they could have called the last one like my big fat Greek fam,
Yeah.
my big fat Greek vacation. Nah, dude. The weddings, bro. Wedding saga.
What's the meet? Does meet the meet the Fockers?
Meet the parents.
Meet the parents, and then
meet the Fockers, because now you meet Ben Stiller's family.
Yes.
Then meet the little Fockers is Ben Stiller's Gaylord Focker's family.
Yeah.
How would your Filipino aunt pronounce that last film, Dylan? The title of it?
Long-time listeners will know this.
Yeah, if you're a fan, if you've been listening for a long time, you'll know how this is, but I'll say it again. When the little Fockers were coming out in theaters, my aunt, who is Filipino from the Philippines, was like, randomly, I think we were like at a Super Bowl game, like at the house or something, and the commercial came on, and she was like, you guys gonna watch the little Fuckers? With all sincerely, like, she is not one to curse. She doesn't drink or anything at all. She's just a really nice woman. It just goes, you guys gonna watch the little Fuckers?
And to this day,
It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
my
her say in
dream
my life.
my dream band name is Little Fuckers, and then our demo is going to be called Meet the Fuckers. And that's the funniest thing I've ever existed in my mind.
Dude, no.
I'll
The
never
tape could be blank. I'll buy it.
I'm never gonna do anything with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it now for posterity.
It's your idea.
Little fuckers. You can put a Z at the end of it. I don't care. Anyways, but yeah, so those that's an example of a franchise pivoting when it stops being about meeting or the parents,
Yeah.
but they're able to make more of them. They just change it.
Yeah. Kind of like, The Conjuring and The Nun.
Yeah.
It's not Conjuring 5, The Nun.
Yeah.
This is like, this installment was like the twist. It's like, man, when's the wedding going to happen?
Right.
How's it going to happen? Boom.
Wedding. You got weddinged.
I would have just assumed the reunion would have just happened.
Yeah.
They could have taken out the whole wedding aspect. I would have been happy.
Yeah, they could have, right?
Is it a big fat Greek wedding? Technically, it takes place at the same time as the reunion, so there's a lot of people
The
there.
reunion's big. The wedding
Yeah.
is very small.
They combined it.
Celebration was fat, though.
Yeah.
I dare say absolutely none of this film matters. Does it matter if the guy's childhood friends who are on death's door themselves get a journal?
I am curious if this journal has been mentioned before.
It wasn't, because I just watched all 3 in a row. Yeah.
And why does it need to go to his friends? Has he been talking to these friends? Are they supposed to split the journal? There's 3
Yeah,
guys.
they're all reading all together.
Hold up. And then who is Aristotle? Is just like a fixer-upper?
He works for the aunt.
Yeah.
She obviously knows that they knew each other.
Yeah, they went on a date once.
Well, they hooked up.
Yeah.
They got Match.com, like they said. We are better than Match.com.
Better than a dating
I
app.
think that falls under the Greeks be so ... Like, yeah, like, you know how Greek aunts be. They always be trying to
Every
hook
single
you up.
one of them, man.
Yeah, I think it falls under that level of humor, I suppose. But this is all to say, none of this matters.
No.
I liked it, man. It was a good film.
So you're saying you do?
No, I think I'll get a divorce, honestly. Like, I can respect, I know what you're saying. Like, it's nice to see a nice movie. It's nice when people are nice on screen and no one's like farting or, shitting their pants or
They
something.
just shave their ear hair every morning.
Yeah, it's not naughty, gross out, yucko humor, but it's also it's just, yeah, my heart and soul is just too blackened. I'm too real. I'm different. I'm built different. I'm built too different for
I'm
this.
a weirdo.
I'm a
loner.
weirdo. I'm unusual. I'm crazy, and this one's too saccharine for me.
What the hell am I doing here?
I can't. Couldn't vibe with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I am straight down the middle with this. Like, I don't particularly care. A lot of the acting is bad. A lot of the jokes are kind of like, they're just rehashings of jokes that you've seen in the previous movie, just kind of told again. And so it's a little played out. But I know some people really like it because, again, it's like, it's lighthearted. It's kind of sweet, even if it doesn't have a very good story or anything. So, I don't know. I'll leave it at the altar.
Wow.
I'll plan the wedding and stuff.
Okay. Get cold feet at the end. All right. I'm happy for the masses because they got another one. They fucking love this movie. Like every other person that was in the theater aside from me, it's a me problem.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like
can
that's the
see
only
that.
way I can look at it, because if the idea of making this movie is to make a large amount of people laugh, they got it. And they've got it 3 times now. Good for them.
But I don't know how much money it's made. And I don't necessarily think it's made for like everybody. I think it's just made for big fat Greek wedding fans.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know of the world to have been clamoring for
I
more
don't think
Greek
so.
wedding.
I think it's not really that pitched for everyone. It's just pitched for the fans.
Yeah.
True words have never been spoken. Pitch for the fans, the big fat Greek wedding movies.
Yeah.
You know what I heard about how this movie was kind of made? The director or the lady was like, yeah, I've been like, this is like a video, mind you, everyone. Was scrolling, what do you call it? Doom scrolling. And like a little ad came up for the big fat Greek wedding. And it's like a little.
I've already seen that movie. I'll watch the ad for this.
Yeah, well, for the third one. On a Zoom call, and she's like, well, I've been vacationing on and off at Greece for like a long time now, for years. And I just was like, why don't we just make a movie here? Like, and then I made the movie, and it's like, oh shit.
No way.
So this was like a true vacation film.
Blissfully unaware that the Equalizer 3 was made for the same reason. That Ticket to Paradise was just made for the same reason. It's a whole genre, I think, of films.
Yeah, see, but I think this set of cast members probably would never just go to Greece to film a movie. So she's like, all right, everyone, let's get on a plane. Joey Fatone, you're going to Greece.
Dylan, what do you think?
You know, honestly, as a fan of these movies, I liked it. Again, it's just bright. The sun's out most of the time of the movie.
That's what, people don't give these films enough credit. They are well lit.
Yeah, I'm saying. I'm like, damn, the sun's out. There's a beautiful blue sky.
That's a great point.
The water. There's no ocean, whatever. Or what? I don't know, ocean. What do you call that?
Sea.
The sea. Yeah. Anyway, like the film. You know what it needed more of?
Go on.
They showed it for 5 seconds.
Guns.
Goat.
Okay.
Needed more goat humor,
100%.
bro.
This is why we come to you, Dylan.
Thank you. Anyway,
All the farm animals were very nice to look at.
I'm not Greek. Everyone listening, I'm not Greek. Don't have an ounce of blood in me. But as a Filipino,
No blood.
There's no blood of Greeks in me. Oh, in general?
Not one.
I am a
ounce of
Dracula
blood.
that is very thirsty. As a Filipino Mexican descent, I will say, in the Filipino world, we share a lot of common grounds. You better watch your fucking back, Greeks, because the Filipino cinema is going to come up.
Oh, there's not my big fat Filipino
I don't
wedding?
know. I'll
The
write
Wedding
it.
Hustler.
I'll write
True.
it. My big fat Filipino wedding.
Okay.
I don't think they would like the word fat in the title, but big.
PHAT?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Ooh, PH, because
Yeah,
okay,
It's
fair.
going to be a good movie.
Yeah, I'll write it.
In space.
Hollywood.
What other movies do we see?
In space. Well, Colin, as you know, sadly wasn't able to watch this film. But the other movie on the docket is Aristotle and Dante's Discover the Secrets of Life. And I hear it's a coming of age film. That's an adaptation of a young adult book from 2012, right? You read it?
Front to back.
Yeah.
Just to remind me, what is the title of the film that it's based on? Or the book?
Isn't it just called
No, I think
Aristotle?
it's a completely different name.
It's the same name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, it's exactly.
I thought it
Oh
was
my God,
I thought it was
he's
based
right.
on
There's
something
a
else.
sequel that is a different title though.
A sequel to the book?
Yes,
What's the secret to the book called?
like they go in the water or something. They love the water.
Aristotle.
Swim in
There's
the
a
water.
whoa. I'm sorry. There's an
Dante and Aristotle way of water.
They go in the water.
Hold on.
Become like,
They came in the woods.
I'm down for
like
them.
mermaids or something?
I'm down for them to just go on various adventures like the Hardy Boys.
Aristotle and Dante dive into the waters of the world.
Woo! That's a title.
God damn.
And these are the only two books so far.
Yeah, that
Okay.
one just came out 2021. The sequel did.
Yeah, Colin, give it time, man.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, sorry.
Dylan, you didn't see the movie, so what do you know the movie to be?
Just coming of age film.
Okay.
I know
Well, what'd you
that,
think of it?
Well, what I think of it?
What would you think of it?
Well, from everything I've seen,
Yeah.
I think I would have liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'd
mean,
agree.
like, I watched the trailer. Sadly, that's like the only bits of information that I have anything for this film. Sadly, and I was like, damn it.
So
Should've seen it.
I could tell you that it takes place in El Paso, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
1987. Which
88.
one's
Aristotle is the
Aristotle's the main boy, and then he is not like the other boys. He makes it. There's a lot of
narration.
narration, so he's narrating his own story, kind of, and he's just like, I'm not like all these other guys. They just want to hang out with girls, and I don't want to.
He's a loner.
He's a loner. He's a weirdo. Little Holden Caulfield there, classic loner type, right? It's a little heavy-handed in tone of the film, but I kind of like that he was like, I see the world as like this place where you need to prove yourself as a man with violence. And my brother is in jail because he did some violent shit, and it's important to my family not to be like that. So rather than try to, climb some social hierarchy by fighting with other boys, I'm going to just kind of do my own thing. And so he's a little bit on his own with this one until he meets Dante, and they hit it off because Dante is also not like the other boys. He's like kind of a little snooty. He's from like kind of a rich family, but they're professors at college, right? So, he's a little bit more erudite. Not the word?
Sure.
Bougie. Not bougie. Erudite. educated, all that kind of shit. And so as they get to know each other, there's like a romantic tension between them, a will they, won't they, if you will. And at some point Dante, or he saves, the Aristotle saves Dante from getting hit by a car in the rain. He's trying to like save a duck.
A bird?
A bird. Dante is trying to save a bird from getting hit.
Regular
and then a
bird.
car just whips around the corner and is about to hit him. And Aristotle pushes him out of the way, hospitalizing himself, but saving Dante. So now there's a life debt owed. And pretty much immediately after, the Dante kid, he's like, my family's got to go to Chicago for
a year because his dad has a job. And
so then, this is kind of awkward because it switches from like, I'm different from all the other boys. And then it switches from that into him reading the letters that he's getting to and from Dante. And so, I don't know, there's like voiceover clash, sort of. But essentially, once he's away, Dante's kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gay. And anyways, I miss you, dude. And there's some kind of awkwardness because I got the sense that like Aristotle was just like not really ready for any kind of
relationship.
Of a sexual nature or whatever. He just seemed like a late bloomer, as they say. He's in high school. He seems like he's not ready. And Dante's very much so ready. And he wants to kiss boys really bad. So he comes back to El Paso, and Aristotle's like, I'm not really into kissing boys. And he's like, you should be into kissing boys. And he kind of pressures them a little bit. And then they kiss. But the Aristotle kid, he's just like, I don't like it. Get out of my car. F you. You're a freak.
But this was after, like, through the letters and stuff. He was like, we're still going to be friends, right? And he's like, of course. That doesn't matter to me.
Dante was kind of pushing it. Some would say he was in the wrong to kind of push it the way he was, but he was pushing it and he got some pushback on it. But then Dante starts kissing other boys, and which leads to him kissing them in front of other boys, and the other boys beat him up for it. He gets beat up and he's in the hospital, and Aristotle needs to get revenge on the people that beat him up. And long story short, he realizes that they should have been kissing, and then Dante gets out of the hospital and they kiss.
Like for real though.
Yeah.
This time.
I mean, you don't see the lips touching each other. It's kind of shot from behind. It's like not like, anyways, it's a very, very, very light kiss. And then they're hanging out with each other and they see the universe in their hands because you can do that. And then credits. Boom. And that's the whole movie.
Wait, what do you mean they see the universe in
It
the
is the
hands?
weirdest
Glad you
thing.
asked.
They shoehorned in.
I leave the
some,
floor to I give the floor to you.
So, okay, first half of the movie, I really liked it because I think like what Justine was alluding to with Big Fat Greek Wedding, it's like wholesome, in a weird way, or in a way that is more palatable to me anyway. So I was really enjoying the first half. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And having just come off of that movie Jules, I was like, oh, there might not be conflict, which would be nice if it's just like a sweet tale. But then they introduce like traditional conflict, and then they just kind of put some CG in when they're laying in a truck and one of them holds up his hand and just the universe is in it.
Yeah, like a Marvel movie
Like
or
a
something.
galaxy, like, sparkling.
So it literally ends with them discovering the secrets of they're like this. You can see the universe in your hands.
Like, it looks like a GIF, like floating in his
And
hand.
it's almost like at the last minute they remembered what the title of the book was and like, let's do how are we gonna do the universe, guys? Let's just put it in a guy's hand? Yeah, go. No problem. So it was like they didn't stick the landing, I would say. Which doesn't mean the movie wasn't enjoyable. It was for like a big portion of it. But then it just kind of got a little heavy-handed, no pun intended, at maybe like the halfway point. Like it got increasingly more heavy-handed and conventional and just kind of clunky. At least for me. I don't know. What was your experience?
Well, I think there's bad writing.
There's a lot of bad writing.
There's bad writing where it's like, oh, this is just you're pretentious or you're kind of like missing the mark. You're not as smart as you think you are. And then there's like, well, you are literally telling a children's story. So like, if you see clunky dialogue in like an actual cartoon for children, you don't think
about
like
in contrast to the first half. I liked the first half.
I think pretty quickly off the gate with like the voiceovers and stuff. It's like You know what? It's like a A24 filter. You know, it's like has like a little like a diet A24 coming of age thing, and it's a little bit of clunkiness. Sure. And then I'm like, oh, but it's pretty.
But I bought its baseline. You know what I mean? I was like, fine, like, I'm in. I'm sitting here.
You know, if this was like an A24 movie and it had like a bunch of like critical praise or something, I'd be like calling bullshit on it. But I think it's pretty quickly revealed to be like for teenagers in general.
Even in like the description, you know, it's like it stresses young adult. And when you told me what time we were seeing it, I just replied with young adult.
Yes.
You know, like let's go. You know.
Okay, so if it's supposed to be like a serious film, it's pretty bad. But if it's for teenagers and it's young adult, like
competent, I
can't put it up against those same kind of standards. To which case, it's like, okay, yeah, this is fine for what it is. Mm-hmm. I guess I would say, and I guess I just know this to it's yaoi. It is romance between boys made pretty much explicitly for a female audience. It's huge in anime and manga and stuff, and like it's huge in Japan, and obviously like a lot of stuff with anime, it's like has Western audience too.
But do we know that this is proper yaoi?
I mean, it checks all the boxes. I'll say that much.
Got it.
Like
I don't think it's like on the back of the book or anything.
Right? Yeah. Young yaoi.
Yeah, and in a weird way, if we were to kind of backdoor that kind of genre into mainstream film-going audiences, this is kind of the way you would do it. And I think the way those stories work and the way this story works kind of operate similarly. Because like I said, it is a PG-13 film. There are some overdub freakins and all that. And, you know, somewhat credit to the MPAA for catching up with the times. Because it used to be you had any gay stuff in your movie, you were just R. Didn't matter.
Dang, good point.
Didn't matter. Like I think But I'm a Cheerleader was the like classic example. There's no nudity. There is like barely kissing. It is just about gay people, and they gave it an R just out the gate. So
people under 17 should not know about that.
Yeah. So this is to their credit, this can include teen audiences in that sense, and it's very ungraphic. It's very PG-13, and I guess it's like I don't know, an episode of Riverdale or something. I don't know. Again, I think it makes a lot more sense as like if you are to have to choose between YA or LGBT, I think it fits a lot more in the YA camp. I don't know. I just didn't get the sense that it was made for gay people, if that makes any kind of sense.
That's where I think
definitely not gay adults.
That's where I think it got heavy-handed at the end. Is like, it starts off YA, and then it just goes almost exclusively into the LGBT realm.
Yeah, because it's like they get, you know, it's a persecution story, right? Because
Exactly.
you get beat up, and that's always, you know, what is it? Selling tragedy, you know, and that's also why you have to put it in the 80s because. First of all, you could just be FaceTiming if it was a modern story, and you still need to have that, you know, violent homophobia be convincing, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's why it's in the 80s, which also seems like kind of hacky because
that's
like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
that's why I kind of split it up. I was like, up to this point, I was with you because I thought it was gonna be like a sweet tale, but.
I don't know. I much like my Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. I don't think I'm the target audience for this.
Yeah, but I think even still, it's just like this one had more tonal inconsistencies than Big Fat Greek Wedding for sure.
A lot of the romantic movies that have come out recently that have worked for me have been like with two gay men as leads. I'm like, maybe this is how you get me into a romance movie is just have it be just two gay guys. I don't know why that works. That's easier for me to take than, you know, just the same shit you see a million times, just a lady and a guy looking at each other. You mean the world to me. That kind of stuff. So I was like, maybe it'll work in that regard. And it pretty quickly didn't. There was a period where I wasn't even sure there was going to be like they were going to hook up. Cause like I said, there was pretty heavy undertones, but it was like, maybe they're just homies. I don't know. It's just very like,
I thought that for
homo romantic, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And they're like, that would be interesting if they never really connect, or even if it's just a one-sided thing. And Aristotle's just cool with Dante being that way, and nothing ever happens of it.
It felt set up that way that they like Aristotle was just going to always be straight, and that would be the quote unquote conflict is just like Dante is in love with them.
Yeah.
They have to like learn how to become, you know, platonic friends or something like that. But no, they ended up making Aristotle gay too.
And I think that's why I say it leans more YA is because there's not really room for that kind of ambiguity, or it needs to be such a clean cut romance story, and that's kind of what it is. And that's sort of where what kind of made me I don't know, lose interest.
They got me going down a path because that pool scene, they're really quippy and witty, you know? And I was like, oh, okay, these guys are funny. I like that. But then it kind of just got more conventional as it went.
Yeah, and there's again just a alternate universe where this could just be Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, and they just these two just meet up and start having funny dialogue. But I don't think they are good enough at writing dialogue. And again, it's just not. That's not. They want to see the boys kiss. They want a lot of build up to it, and they want tension, and they want all that kind of stuff. And then they get to see the boys kiss, and it's fun. It's fun to them. They want to watch it, so let them watch it. It's fine. I don't need to make my fucking artsy bullshit be for everyone. It's fine. They did fine. Good job, movie. Probably. I don't know.
This movie is fine. I've never seen, but it reminds me of is it like 13 Reasons Why? What is Dylan?
What is it?
Is that 13 Reasons Why or 10? What is it?
13 Reasons Why is a show that's about the 13th reasons why he kills himself.
Yeah, it kind of has that feeling to me. Where
which you've a show you've never seen.
Yeah, I've never seen this before.
But it has the same feeling.
But it's like this. There's YA stuff that tackles like more serious problems.
Yeah.
But it always is like tragic. They have to play it up.
Yeah,
it's like a Hallmark
opera-ish
movie, but for like kids and YA stuff, heavier subjects. And I thought twice in this movie that someone was going to die, that Dante was going to die. Like they had the fight because they kissed and Aristotle was like uncomfortable about it. And then I thought he was going to kill himself. And then that's why, like when he goes there to his house, like there was going to be some big reveal that he had killed himself. But instead it's that he got beat up. And I was like, oh, now he's going to die. But then he didn't die.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, good. And so Aristotle beats up one of the guys who beat up Dante. And I thought he was going to die.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a tragic thing where then Aristotle goes to jail and it just becomes, something else. When you know this like formula of movie where it's like, here's this cutesy thing, something tragic.
Anyone can get it in these melodrama
yes,
kind of
exactly.
flicks.
And so that's kind of just the path that I saw it going. And so kind of from the beginning, I didn't expect this to be, that, I don't know, lighthearted or whatever. And I think it was just funny how different the movie felt sometimes. I really liked the part where they were reading letters to each other.
Right.
But it is very strange to just like you're watching a normal movie and then all of a sudden like a whole part of it is letters to each other.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just Aristotle. Like you don't see what Dante's doing. You just hear his voice reading his letters. But it's kind of a cool way of doing things. Like you get to see Aristotle growing and living his own life,
right?
But at the same time you're getting information about like the status of their relationship, which is really clever and like efficient storytelling.
That's one thing I noticed this week also with the Big Fat Greek Wedding movie is in order to hit those 90-minute marks or less, there is narration that pushes it forward. Like it just tells you what's happening in different ways between the movies, but like the shorter movies we've seen, I've noticed they've had to do little shortcuts like that versus like having it all play out on screen, which is appreciated in some cases.
It's like an info dump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I don't think in this case it is. I imagine, again, I have not read this book, but I imagine you just see them as letters in the book.
Okay,
right.
That's
how they
why
adapted
they're
it.
having that's why they're doing the voiceover of the letters, which I think is neat.
I think there's a layer of Dante will be, or Aristotle will be saying like what he's doing in the letters, and then he's doing something else. So it's sort of like you're seeing what he's comfortable showing versus what he's actually doing.
That's a good point, yeah.
And there's, I don't know, that's a good multi-layered way to do character development.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually, I'll give this movie its flowers. They developed the characters. There are characters in this movie. They are distinct. Possibly the only movie we saw this week that had characters.
They're characters. They grow. They learn.
That's true.
Credit where credit's due.
Wow.
Not to say that Valak's character can't get overdeveloped in the Nun 4 or the Conjuring 4, but for the time being.
Or the Nun prequels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, would you say you've discovered the secrets of the universe, or you're going to keep shush about this? Stay a secret. I don't know. This is not miserable, but I didn't really have a great time watching it. Still kind of it's just a little too teenagey for me. It didn't really transcend, I think, the target demographic. I didn't think it was like miserably bad or anything, but it's kind of funny, I guess, more than anything. Like, oh, I'm seeing something I don't think I was no one made this movie with a 40-year-old man watching it in mind. There was some amusement in probably watching something that was not made for me at all, but it was, didn't really enjoy it too much, admittedly. So I'll keep this one a secret, respectfully though.
I don't know. This is just the same as my Big Fat Greek Wedding. It's like I get it. It's obviously not for me specifically. I do think that it does a good job of what it's trying to do. So in that way, it's a thumbs up. Good job, guys, for doing exactly what you set out to do. And I bet you the book is exactly the way that you think it is reading this. So without knowing at all, I'm going to say great adaptation of the book. Well done.
Yeah, this is another hard one to score. As an older person, the first half I really appreciated because it focused on how what's initially presented as a friendship, is formed. So I really felt nostalgic watching the two characters share art, music, books, everything with each other. Mainly Dante, like showing Aristotle, like, hey, you need to check this out. Look at this. This is amazing. Like you need to take this home and spend some time with it. I really like that because it harkened back to when I was in the actual 80s, and how we would disseminate media amongst our group of friends. So that was really nice. I really love that. And there, like I said, there's a sweet tone to that first half that my blackened old heart definitely liked, and then they just got rid of it, at a certain point, and then it just turned into a tonally a different story, and it lost me a bit. And then when the universe appears in the hand, I was just like, oh man, wait, and you knew just like by your own internal clock that the movie's about to end, and you're just like, really? All right, so this is a tough one to score. First half for me better than most, but then it just doesn't stick the landing and it just kind of falls off. So this is an incomplete universe. I don't know what else is out there.
We should put some respect on the soundtrack's
It was amazing.
name. You get the church, you get expose, opening with a Bronski beat track, and that was a great montage of his like kind of daily life while the Bronski beat tune plays. Zachary Thax, which is a deep cut like Texas shit. It was so that's a firm plus from the old folks convalescent home. Gives a thumbs up to that.
Here's the problem with
the soundtrack
that.
with that at least.
When you watch that and you become enamored by the soundtrack and you want to go listen to it at home, the internet's already proliferated with people that made Spotify playlists of what they want the book's soundtrack to be.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with what was in the movie. So like you're just down a rabbit hole that you can't dig your way out. You're like, no, that would not work with the movie. No.
So, Dylan, what movies are we watching?
Unlimited.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Regal Movie Masters Unlimited. Next week, we got Camp Hideout. I literally do not know what this movie is about. I've only seen the movie posters walking through the theater. It has that really cool 70s art drawing, like Bad News Bears. The one that comes to mind really, if you're a true rocker, is Detroit Rock City. Anyway, I just assume it's a comedy at a summer camp. That's all I got. We also got Satanic Hispanic, from what I've been told is an anthology film about some, Satanic Hispanics. And I saw it features the legend himself, Efron Ramirez, from the Crank series. And he also played Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite. But that's all I know about this film. Then we got A Haunting in Venice, an ensemble cast to scare you while you're in Venice. It looks scary, and I'm excited for it. Anyway, guys, see you at the theaters. Bye.